Hi, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. We had a bit of a technical difficulty with the intro of our video, which was probably a user-related problem. Today we're catching up with a 924 Turbo in a special order colour. So we're just going to crack on with this one. Put the boost down, let's crack on. So here we are with an Inari Silver Turbo 924 Australian delivered car.
Yes.
And one of how many did you say? 5 with this colour perhaps?
Well, we're not exactly sure, but it used to be a two-tone car. Originally it was a two-tone car.
Yeah, and what I will do in the video is I'll put in the two-tone picture of how the car was originally, because this, as much as you see 924s and they're either red, white, probably they're the two favourite colours.
Brown.
Yep, brown. This is an original colour. Two-tone, like we said, but the top half is original, but this is a stunning colour. More green, I'm sure that picks up on the video, rather than a silver colour, but this is an epic colour. So I think we'll get some of the history of this, because like we said, not only 924's turbos becoming more and more popular over a period of time. I think that's fair to say, with the transaxle crowd, but I think the majority of Porsche guys generally appreciate the turbo 924, and then with this being such a unique colour.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of guys don't understand how these cars drive. I mean, they're so close to a 911. They're not exactly like the 911 SC or something like that, but fun factor is right up there. They are brilliant cars to drive. That beautiful 80s turbo lag is just amazing.
Yep.
I just love it because it's a small little car that you can just drive all day and you never get tired in it. It's just a beautiful little thing to drive. Quite expensive when they were brand new, around, I think they were $40,000 brand new, something like that.
Yeah.
Which was very expensive back in the day.
Price of a small house in a decent suburb.
Yeah. So the options on this car were obviously, you know, it was spec'd up quite nicely. Factory air conditioning. Well, I think that's dealer air conditioning.
Oh yeah, because I get what you mean by dealer versus the factory. Yeah.
I think back then what they did was they brought them in the country, and then if you wanted air conditioning, the dealer does that work for you and you pay the bill. Two-tone colour, so factory two-tone colour from that sort of point down.
Yeah.
Darker green.
Kind of the belt line down.
Yeah, it was a darker green, and
like we said, we'll pull up a picture and we'll pop it up again as well, just so that people can kind of see that the two-tone effect.
Yeah, but also the history on this car is quite decent as well. So it's a 3-owner car, sold by Hamilton's in Melbourne.
Yep.
South Yarra.
Popular, well-known.
Yeah. Well, they were the distributor.
They were the guys. Yeah.
They were the main distributor for Australia, and I think the cars went everywhere else after that. So yeah, bought brand new in '81 at Hamilton, South Yarra. The car spent a lot of its time in Abbotsford. It's by its first owner. Second owner and third owner was in Geelong. So the guy I bought it off had it for 17 years. So quite a long ownership, even for its third owner.
That's a massive ownership, isn't it?
Yeah. So huge history with receipts from Hamilton's, and I've got history from literally day one till now. So a big stack of receipts, which is what you want to see in these cars, and you know it's been well maintained. Obviously it's had a bit of a colour change from the bottom half, but
yeah,
I like it the way it is. Yeah, I think there was a scrape on one side and on the front guard from the second owner.
Yeah.
and then they decided when they were touching up that guard, they basically just did the whole thing, the same colour. Bit of a shame. They do look amazing in that two-tone, and
it shapes the body, doesn't it? I think really well.
Yeah, it does, and a very rare option. Not many people went for it.
No, like you said, the only kind of colours that we've seen are the white, that kind of brown, but definitely red seemed to be the kind of factory output.
Yeah, I've had a red one before and sold that to a guy up in, I think it was Newcastle or Northern Sydney anyway.
So how many kilometres does this have?
I think it's about 180.
Yeah, okay.
180, and they're all documented, so you can track it that way.
Yep.
Because of the speedometer, it doesn't, has 5 digits. It resets itself after 100,000.
So we've just been told of a fun fact here. So the key hole here is the factory fitted or dealer? Dealer fitted alarm
system,
for here in Australia. So you see one of these, then it is an Australian delivered car. So that must then, they must kind of just turn it, sets the alarm, and then
I mean, a very basic system. It's obviously you put a key in there, turn it on or off. It still has the wiring inside. It still
is it like an ignition cut-off, is it?
I'm not sure. It doesn't work, of course, but the wiring is still there.
But like you said, an expensive car back in the day.
Yeah, and
so they're probably like, well, here we go, we'll fit an alarm.
They were definitely stolen.
Yeah.
They were definitely stolen in their day.
And here we go. Looks original interior.
Yeah, I think the seats have had the brown part redone, but the seat backs are original, the carpet's original.
Carpet here. Aged over a bit of time, but all original. I'll take a look on the inside as well. The rear on the 924 is always nice with that massive sheet of glass.
Yeah, you can definitely see out of it.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the modern cars where you can't see a thing.
Can't see a thing. Yeah.
So yeah, they're quite nice.
So here we go. The interior, obviously a manual car. Brown. The I guess the colour of the decade, somewhat.
Yeah, brown and tan, I think.
Brown and tan. Yeah.
Yeah. So the original colours of what the car was. Still got the original dealer fitted sort of speakers. Well, it did have the original radio, but it wasn't working, so I did replace it.
And even the quality on here. With the Porsche there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
That is lovely. Turbo screaming at you.
Yeah. At least you know what you're stepping into.
Yeah. Look at that. We'll take a look at the driver's side as well. So for the observant people out there, it's got the no sunroof.
Yeah, so I guess you had the option of putting a sunroof in, but factory non-sunroof car, which is always desirable nowadays, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant when I was trying to say it. It is a very desirable option, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is nowadays. It's desirable to not have it. So,
because it went through a period where with the 356 it was the desired option.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it just went out of the desired range.
Yeah, that's right. No, they obviously keeps the body a lot stiffer.
Yeah.
Not that you really need that in just a normal road car, but
even the tunnel, like, you kind of miss looking at it when you look inside the car, but that being all carpeted as well. Just an instantly recognisable era.
Yeah, it screams the 80s.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
That's all it does. It's 80s through and through.
This is the first time I've seen a 924 turbo engine, but they are a lot bigger, and there's a lot more to it than your standard 924 engine.
Yeah, that's definitely right. They're actually quite heavy. So the turbo's actually underneath what you can see, the cylinder head all way under there. Very different to a standard 924. The way they're built. Different positioning of literally everything. The motor for the lights is on the different, the opposing side to a standard 924. Airbox is different. The CIS fuel injection, of course. There's a lot of things about this engine that can go wrong when they're not maintained. Luckily this one's got a good history and has been well maintained, and that was the demise basically of these cars, and that's why so many of them were running to the ground, because a couple of little systems fail on them. They're expensive to work on.
What are predominantly the main problems you get with
the injection system, the warm-up regulators, things like that, and by the time you diagnose everything, it can get expensive.
Yeah, okay.
When these cars were in maybe the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, they weren't looked after, and that's why there's so few of them left.
Yeah, they fell out of popularity, didn't they? And
that's right, and then
fell into a state of disrepair.
Once the car goes beyond a certain point, it's too hard to bring it back. It's too expensive, and it's just certainly not worth it. But when you find a car that's survived all that, that's what you want.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's so much different to the standard 924.
Yeah, very different. Very different.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised with that, really, because I thought it'd be not too different except for the turbo element, but that's a massive difference. Completely
different. And just that kick, that 80s turbo kick is just amazing, and the way this car spools up, standard, everything's standard on it, but the way the turbo sounds when it spools up, I mean, you can hear it from a distance, not an issue, and it certainly sounds brilliant in the car.
On the driver's side of the car as well, of course, the handbrake on the right hand side of the driver, the old original steering wheel, carpeting again. Yeah, like you said, the seats might have been recovered at some point, but they've definitely got the right material and the right look on the car as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the brown top part of the
dash and all the.
But the dash is all nice and original, and it's just a nice original car, and it's not a showpiece, but that's the way I like them. I like them as a car you can just jump in and drive and not worry about.
Yeah, and definitely unique, because 924 turbo turning up to a Porsche meet is a little bit different in what I've seen.
You used to never see them. Like, you'd never see a 924 turbo, or even just a standard 924 turn up to a Cars and Coffee or anything that. But they've grown in popularity. I mean, it's pretty typical of where the Porsche scene is now. I mean, any air-cooled 911 is quite expensive, and naturally the cheaper cars, which these aren't not really that cheap anymore. But
you still get to be part of the Porsche kind of element.
Yeah, you do. Well. I mean, it's, for me, I just love the car, the way it drives, and sure, I've had plenty of 911s, but driving this car is just amazing. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, unique, different, interior is fantastic.
Yeah,
colours absolutely amazing, and again unique with a car. I think she's a real gem.
Yeah,
you just don't see them, do you?
No, they've all, the ones that have stood the test of time. I mean, if you can find a good one, definitely buy it. They are, as enjoyable as a 911.
Yeah.
And believe me, I've had plenty of them.
Very, very nice. So that's it from us today. Hope you've enjoyed. the view of the 924 turbo. Very, very unique car. Absolutely love that colour. We will be back with James a little bit later on just to check in the garage. I think it's just shut at the moment, but we will be back later to take a look at a couple of the race cars in the back there. Thank you very much. Brilliant afternoon. Catch you later, guys. Please subscribe. We'll see you in a bit. See you later.